What's up, y'all? Making this for my guys who struggle with tournament nerves, ladder anxiety, things of that nature. Now, in the anxiety annihilation, I went over this briefly. I'll do a quick overview here, and then we'll get into it. So, what is anxiety? Anxiety is simply the fear of undesired outcomes. So, if I'm expecting something to happen that I don't want, so let's say I see a girl I want to talk to, and I'm really anxious about going over there. That's because my body is signaling to me in the form of anxiety in my brain, part of your body, that there's a potential of something I don't desire, right? And that might be getting rejected or her, all the things guys think about, right? Or, I want to travel to this country, and then anxiety comes up. What if I don't know anyone there? Or what if I don't make any friends? Or what if all the things. Putting it simply, anxiety is negative what ifs, right? They're not in reality. That's fear. But anxiety is a negative what if, and excitement is positive what ifs. So when you're excited about something, what if this happens? What if this happens? And they're positive what ifs. And so that's going to lead us into how to cure this. And yes, we could do some super extensive human behavioral analysis, right? But I want you guys to have the tools to solve things quickly. Speed is very big in how I go about psychology, and you call it therapy. I'll use that word because when you hear that, there's a certain connotation that comes in your mind. But all the purpose of anything psychological is, in terms of you going to a professional, is I want to do this thing, or I want to feel this way. I'm not doing it, or I'm not feeling the way I want to feel. What do I do to fix it? Right? That's assuming that the issue isn't in your body, meaning you want to do a 5K, but you can't do it because your leg is broken. Well, you don't need to see a therapist for that. You need to see a doctor, right? Or you just need to sit down and allow your body to heal. However, what if your body is fine, right? Like in a Pokemon game, you're technically fine. You're physically capable of doing the activity, yet you feel anxious. What's that about, right? And so that's what we're going to solve today. And this actually applies to anything. Do not allow the fact that this is simple to diminish the power, right? The fact that this can be simplified is due to a deep understanding, not because it needs to be complicated. I really want to pre-frame you guys with that. Do not assume because it's simple, it's less powerful, right? This is one of the most powerful things you'll ever do, and it'll have the fastest results you've ever had. I've tested this on ungodly amounts of people just to make sure, right? Because I also had the false assumption that, well, if I've had a problem for a long time, then the answer can't be simple. It must be some complicated thing. I must jump, hop, and skip 10 times while there's a full moon, and I got to drink balance a bottle of water on my head. Like, no. So that being said, let's get into it. In order to get over anxiety, we talked about anxiety's negative what ifs, and how that works is when a human being, that's you right there, when a human being desires something, they're intrinsically motivated to go towards it. So let's say you like apple pie, and you see the apple pie right there. You're like, delicious apple pie. That's steamy apple pie right there. That's steam, right? Say you love apple pie, and you see it. Human beings are intrinsically motivated to move through action, moving their body through space to go towards the things they want. However, and this is all in the brain now, before you even make a move. However, what if this person likes apple pie, there is apple pie, but doesn't move towards apple pie? Why wouldn't they move towards the thing they desire? And that's because of what are called, it's what's called resistance. I'll just call it resistance. And so if you are a person, you have a desire, right? The apple pie is just, you know, obviously an example. You have a desire, and then you're not moving towards the desire. And remember this statement: actions always tell the truth. So if you're like, no, I really want this jam. No, I'm serious. Da, 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 da. The truth can be told based on how much action you take towards it. If I said to you, hey, if you can do 100 push-ups, regardless of whether you've ever done a push-up in your life, and I say, if you can do 100 push-ups, I'll give you $50 million in cash right now, and it's guaranteed. You just got to do 100 push-ups. How much hesitation would you have? Even if you're not confident you can do the 100 push-ups, you're going to try. Why? Because at that point, your desire is so strong that you no longer care about all the things that made you assume you couldn't do 100 push-ups before. You don't even care about if you can do it or not. You're damn sure not just going to allow this opportunity to pass and not give it a go. So why don't we have that attitude towards everything? That's because our desire, if we want to put it in numbers, wasn't high enough. So our desire usually has a certain level of intensity. Let's say it's out of 100. So let's say our desire is 100. I really want this thing. But when we look at our actions, my action is only like a 10 out of 100. So it's like 10% level of effort you're putting in. How does that make sense? And usually you'd hear it's because you don't want it enough, but that's not actually true, right? You could want something really badly. However, you may have what's called resistance. And I'll show you how to get and learn what your resistance is in a moment. So let's say you have a really strong desire for something, but you have a lot of fear, a lot of negative what ifs that are in your subconscious. And if you want explanation for anything I'm saying in more depth, so shoot me a PM or leave a comment on this video. This will be in the group and I'll upload it in the course as well. So let's say that that's the case, right? You're like, okay, I got this really strong desire, but why am I not doing it? Why can't I get myself to do it? That's because you have a lot of resistance or negative what ifs, or what's called, I wouldn't use it as fear, but fear is typically understood in a certain way. So fear. And so it's like, okay, how do I figure out what this is? Because it's running you whether you know it or not. Whether you like it or not, whether you're in denial about it or not, it's always there. And until you find out what that 90% is, you can't fix it, right? And so your actions will always stay low. And if your actions stay low, you're not going to get your desire. You're not going to move towards the pie. Okay? So how do we go about finding out what that is? This is how we do it. Very simple. So let's say I wanted pie. This requires pen and paper. You cannot do it through typing means. It has to be pen to paper or pencil to paper, whatever. You put your desire. I want apple pie. I'm going to just put AP. I want an AP watch. I want apple pie. Then you're going to go but. And but is a magical word. You use it all the time, but you don't use it to your advantage. And you're going to, without judgment, this is very key, without judgment, write out in a list everything that comes to mind. So that would look like, I want to be calm, cool, and collected in my draft league games, but you're going to list everything. And when you think, because usually this is how this works, I told you I've done this 1.5 million times. Usually when the client is doing this, one, the answers are going to be very surface level because your ego doesn't want to admit certain things. And then the deeper you go, some of the answers are going to start being things you'd have never thought were the reasons. For example, I've done exercise removal resistances, or this is called resistance release. I've done resistance release exercises about, usually after you do them, you're going to forget the answers you wrote down, even though they're going to be very embarrassing in the moment. And no, you don't ever have to show this to anyone. So just know that. I've done some where, let's say I would say, I want to upload a video today, but, you know, I'm trying to think of a past one that's real, but I'm afraid that the video, I want to make really high quality content consistently, but I'm afraid I'll get too big and it's going to contradict with some other goals that I have. So that may be one of my resistances, right? I don't want to be too successful. And so that's manifested in my actions, meaning I'm not making the video high quality or as a high quality as I could have. But I would have never consciously thought that was the reason, right? Or one of the reasons, because they're probably going to be 30, 40. Trust me. But you're going to go but, and when you think you've run out of answers, know that you haven't. Write the next number. So let's say I had 3. I'm going to write the next down 4, and then I'm going to go, what else? And you're going to pause and you're going to keep doing that and keep doing that, keep doing that until the answers, when you start getting to answers, you're like, damn, that's true. I'm thinking that. Then you're on the right track, because the real reasons are usually things that you would have never thought. Then after writing as many of those down as possible to where you literally are there for 5 minutes and you can't think of what else, that's when you know you're done, right? And when you're writing the answers out, do not judge the content. Don't go, oh, I don't want to admit that, because it's running you whether you know it or not. If you don't, and after this, you don't have to do anything else. Take that piece of paper, put it to the side, and you don't have to do anything else. Are there ways to dive deeper? Yes. If you guys want that kind of stuff, and this applies to anything, but I'm just applying it to Mons right now. And I'm going to give stories. I don't want to make this video too long, but you know, again, this is co-created, and based on what you guys want to know and learn, I will deliver to make sure you're as successful as possible. I just realized I didn't set the screen recorder right, so you're probably seeing my Discord light up and stuff. My apologies for that. I want you guys to be as successful as possible, and that all starts mentally, right? Everything starts mentally. Every action is preceded by a thought. So yeah, well, after completing that, just observe, because you're gonna go through your answers and you're gonna go, what do I notice about these answers? What kind of patterns do I notice? And then you're gonna say out loud to yourself whatever you observed the pattern in these answers are. So usually people go, I just realized most of the reason I'm anxious has to do with my fear of other people's opinion. I care really deeply about the approval of the community. So every time I go into a tour battle, all I'm thinking about is this going to cause me to lose approval? Right? And those are insights that you can't get until you do this. So please execute on it. I'd love to hear, you know, some things that you may have learned through applying this. Please reach out if you need any help. And yeah, this will deal with just this. Can have you never having any form of anxiety in any other context again if you do this relating to that. So love y'all, and yeah, more to come. Peace.